Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching the Digital Eccentric channel. My name is Joe Robinson, and as you can see from the menu screen before you, today we're going to be playing Space Engineers. This is quite exciting for me because I really like Space Engineers. I've been wanting to do some streaming for it for a while, but there's been some technical problems on my end. I can only really play the game in certain circumstances, but I have set up those circumstances for you today so I can do some streaming. What is Space Engineers? If you don't know, I like to describe it as sort of Minecraft in space. I'm sure many of you and the creators might not necessarily agree with that, but I find it's the easiest explanation that people will understand. Once I get in, I'll show you why I think it's like that, but it's essentially a kind of a sandbox builder game. By the sounds of things, the kind of once the product is finished, it's going to be very kind of player versus player orientated. But it's not that, you just pick up a gun and you start shooting people. You have to build ships, you have to build structures, you have to arm those structures with weapons, and then you have to go shoot people. So it's kind of like, it's a creation game, it's a creation sandbox game. It's got some PvP elements in it, so let me just set this up for you. It's been coming along. They've been doing about weekly updates over the past few months, which has been really good. Some really kind of interesting features have been thrown in. They've just recently thrown in multiplayer, which is not something I've tried yet, but I am looking forward to it. And hopefully this will load up and I can show you the game. Some fun facts whilst we're waiting for the game to load. The predecessor to this game is a game called Minor Wars. Maybe you've seen it around Steam, maybe you haven't. It's kind of the early prototype of the Space Engineers concept. The developers have said that Minor Wars was kind of step one, and the kind of money and feedback and sort of the experience in making and supporting that game has led them to be able to make Space Engineers. So you can see some of the kind of early stuff in Minor Wars. If you want to go check it out, it's on Steam right now. Probably very cheap as well because it's a fairly old game. Probably shouldn't have gone with the 64-bit version. Start. That's annoying. I'm going to have to... Bollocks. Oh, wait, here we go. Looks like something's happening. Yes. Right. Welcome to the world of Space Engineers. So this is a sort of a pre-made... Just hide the hub for you. This is a pre-made kind of world that the developers, well, can provide you if you want to jump in. There's quite a few ships already. Skeleton of this ship here. I guess I must have forgotten to finish making it. And look, yeah, space station and lots of stuff. Okay, so I will jump in a small fighter and fly around, take you on a little bit of a tour. So here we are. Ah, come back. Have to be careful because they have proper inertial dampeners on this thing. There we go. So the basic kind of idea with Space Engineers is again, this is why I bring up Minecraft. I mean, normally, apart from these pre-made starts, you know, once the game is a bit more complete, you will start essentially in this kind of asteroid-filled setting. You'll have nothing but a few basic tools, and you have to go to these kind of big asteroids and mine them for resources, and then you have to process those resources, and then you can turn those resources into like kind of metals, materials, and from there you build yourself a spaceship essentially. All these discolorations on the inside of the asteroid, these are different ores that you can mine, and mining is actually in the game now, so in a minute I can hopefully show you. You'll have to forgive me because it's been a while since I've played this game properly. A lot of updates have come in, a lot of the controls have changed, so I'm not as up to speed on how everything works as I'd like to be. But the whole thing about Space Engine is that they want it to be based on kind of realistic physics, realistic technology. You know, obviously some concessions have been made to the fact that this is a game and not a real space environment. I can't believe exactly what is still kind of unrealistic, but you've got like inertia, you've got, you know, equal force and all that. I'm not really a scientist person, so I don't know all the technical terms, but you know, as you can see, as I accelerate, you know, I have to decelerate. It's not just an easy stop, and there's kind of basic scientific concepts like that throughout the whole game. Forget how you change view. That's awkward. B. Do. Yeah, here we go. This game. So not only can you build spaceships, but you can also build space stations and space facilities. Let's see, there's another fighter over there. And again, this is all just pre-made stuff, but I could, if I wanted to, make this essentially. This is all completely makeable. This is player inventory. So like you've got ores here, platinum ore, uranium ore, nickel ore, silicon ore. So these are all things that will eventually be used in the kind of creation process. Hand drills for hand mining, grinders, automatic rifles, welders. You may remember from the sort of montage that was in the background of the main menu, you saw characters going up to fighter ships and sort of welding plates into place. Now that isn't actually in this version of the game. I believe it's coming soon. I'm not entirely sure why they haven't put it in yet. But it's essentially, you know, you don't just build it and, you know, it's there pre-made. Like, from what I can gather, looking at various kind of promotional and tutorial videos from the developers, you know, you kind of create the skeleton of the block. So say you create, you know, oh, saving. Apologies if the stream is a bit stuttery as well. Yeah, so say take this kind of pillar here. This is one block. This is a square. So I could make this using kind of ores, materials, but it wouldn't just. In creation mode, I could plonk it down, and you know that's it. But in sort of the, you know, eventual survival / hardcore mode, whatever you want to call it, I'd sort of make the basic skeleton of this block, and then I'd have to use my welder to finish the rest of it, so it would look like this. So there's definitely creation here. Again, this is why I bring back the whole kind of Minecraft thing. Open doors are so cool. Right, so now I'm in spaceship. essentially it's really easy. Hopefully I'll be able to show you an aspect of creation in a minute, but I'm just kind of mucking around right now. Many doors. Right, yeah, so this is the cockpit of this particular ship. Now, as you can see, I am now flying this big behemoth of a spaceship. And as they kind of slowly add features into the game, the game, there's more and more you end up doing, but at the moment there's not a huge amount to do. So essentially all we do is crash things into other things, which is more fun than you think it is. So I'm going to demonstrate this right now for you. As you can tell, this is a fairly cumbersome ship. It's so big. You can see in the bottom right hand corner there's loads of different kind of gauges. Again, because it's creative mode, not all of them are in use right now, but you can sort of see where they're going. So you've got power usage, you've got mass and speed, and obviously these are real scientific concepts that will matter when the game is finished. Thrust, dampeners, gyroscope, fuel time, all this kind of stuff. And this is going to be a truly, epic sandbox creation game set in space. It just gets me really excited because I love space, I love science fiction, and this is kind of going to be a dream game for me. So yeah, I'm going to demonstrate the kind of destruction mechanics. It's kind of rudimentary right now, not all of the damage effects are all there yet, but it's still incredibly fun just to crash one big ship into another big ship and just kind of look at the damage, really look, see how everything kind of turns out. It is quite special. Oh, I missed it completely. That's annoying. Alright, never mind. Targeting is slightly off, which can happen. It's when you're flying the big ships, it can be hard to really get a beat on where you're aiming, which is disappointing, but never mind. Just kind of swing us around. A little bit. Oh, there it is. So that means the ship must be. Much easier to use the arrow keys. I'm gonna try and. There was a way to adjust your view. Let me just. Again, it's been a while, so I've forgotten most of the controls. There was a way I could kind of adjust the view so that it kind of swings in behind, but hopefully I'll be able to get it this time. Oh, I went under it again. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to crash into the asteroid. That'll be fun. Once it's finished saving, obviously. There we go. Bit of a crash. Let's go inspect the damage. A bit more fun if I'd managed to crash into the ship, but still getting used to this game. So yeah, we've lost the whole front half. Not the most spectacular crash would be again. It would be more fun if I'd managed to crash into the big ship, but hey ho. God, we can go really fast at the moment. So you've got kind of basic weapons in here at the moment. These things don't do the most damage, but I think the fighter has some weapons as well. Control panel. There we go, Gatling gun. So it uses a very simple toolbar system at the moment. I don't know if they're gonna kind of improve on this. You can imagine right now, especially in multiplayer, you both kind of boot yourself a fighter, both kind of dogfighting, trying to kill each other. Oh, so again, inertial dampeners. So I've kind of buggered up my little fighter there, which is let's turn those reactors off. Actually, that's probably not a good idea. Once you kind of start spinning, there's no real stopping it, so. See what all these tools. I haven't actually had a chance to try out all these tools yet, so so that weapon is disabled. Doesn't do anything. And that weapon is disabled, right? So again, there are some things in here that aren't quite working yet, but I'll demonstrate some mining and then I'll try and build a rudimentary spacecraft. There's kind of basic principles that all spacecraft, light or small, have to follow, really. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Kind of mining into it. And this, if that worked properly, like once the game's finished, once you mine, I think little kind of bits of rock are supposed to go flying out, but I'm not sure whether I'm collecting them or not. Ah, you see it? There we go. There's one. So again, very rudimentary right now. It's still early access alpha. It's still very much a work in progress, but it's coming along quite nicely. Like when I first started playing this game, it must have been about November right now, there wasn't a lot to do other than just build ships and crash it. And like the updates after that were all kind of a bit on the tame side and were kind of along those lines, but now that they've really started adding in the new features, they're a bit rougher, so obviously they'll need to work on them a bit more, but it's good to have these features in now, just so people can start seeing what this game could become like, you know, what the potential for this game is, which is good. Right. Right, so at the moment, since we're in creation mode, if you want to create anything, you basically have to go to the right here. You can either create a new small ship, a new large ship, or a new station. Each come with their kind of own characteristics. Stations obviously can't move, so even if you attach engines to them, nothing will happen. And then small or large ships just kind of basically determines the size of the blocks that will be attached to it. Excuse me. So we'll start with a new small ship. So it creates that kind of. So it creates just a little small block. This is a very basic kind of armor block right here. Not much to it right now. And let's get rid of. I need some small reactor cockpit, small thrust gyroscope. Yeah, okay, that should be everything. I've also got heavy armor blocks in here now as well, which is a new addition. So, as you can see, I can now start building onto it. There's some little rotation guides, so just really easy. Press, place. Things can get funky when you control. Yeah, so control and click. Where things get crud. Sorry, I've got to get used to moving in this game again. They've changed it since first started playing, so that you control and click, and you can go out and go in. You can also, there's a hotkey for symmetrical placement, so you choose a center line, and then anything you do on one side of that line will then be replicated on the other side. Again, forgive me, I can't actually remember the hotkeys for this, so I'm not going to bother. But it's good, and then you can also copy entire segments and then paste as well. So if I was to create a whole ship just out of this, I could then copy and paste it just to sort of mass produce them. Okay, so we'll start with this basic 4x4. What every ship needs is a cockpit, which we will put there. It needs thrusters. It needs more than just the basic kind of forward. It also needs reverse thrusters. And then it also needs up. And then up and down. So yeah, this is a very kind of rudimentary and ugly looking ship. It's not really going to be used for much, but this is just footage. It's just show how easy it is to create ships in this game. And then in addition to that, every ship needs a gyroscope, just so it can tell what's up and what's down. And then finally, some reactors. Let's see how the engines come on once we've done that. Obviously, the more reactors you give it, the more power it will have, and the more engines you put on it, the more power it will need. At the moment, they don't seem to have activated kind of true power supply versus power requirements. So there's no, engines don't just turn off if you're using more power than your reactors can supply. But I imagine that will come in as well. So just enter the cockpit, and I'm in my brand new spaceship, which I'm going to immediately crash into the side of this space station right here. I forgot my boom. Right, so it looks like my ship was totaled completely because it's actually completely disappeared. Never mind. I'll just go get myself a new one. I forgot a couple of engines that you'll suppose every little ship has, which is the left and right ones for true 360-degree maneuvering, but never mind. To save again, I might need to adjust the auto-save time. Right, so cockpit. So if you ever do, even if you don't buy this game, if you just go look at the Steam Workshop page for Space Engineers, like the community have also created some marvelous creations, like everything from massive replications of like Battlestar Galactica to the Destiny from Stargate Universe to basically any sci-fi thing you can think of has been created in Space Engineers by at least one person. They've even created the ships from Star Citizen in Space Engineers. I saw that the other day, which I find highly amusing because Space Engineers is proven to be a more playable Star Citizen game than Star Citizen itself. So well done, RSI. Well done. You have well and truly been beaten at your own game by a completely different game. Chips to gyroscope, and then a couple of reactors. But actually, what I'll do is I'll also copy and paste, and copy and paste, and copy and paste. Crash dummy test, take 2. Tra-la-la. And boom. A bit of the ship survived there, not much. Obviously if the cockpit breaks you get chucked out of it. And this is no longer a ship. You see how mangled it is? I think there must be something wrong with me because I just love seeing the kind of wrecked husks of ships that were. Oh, there's the other one as well. It's fascinating. I just like seeing the damage model at work. Really, not really sure what happened here. Probably just a template for you to build on if you wanted to finish your own version. On another kind of easy start setup, you only get like a basic platform, like say that over there, and then you get these 2 ships and then a fighter. And in my last version that I converted, the blue one that you got, though it was that blue one, it was a more completed one, I converted it into a Corellian Corvette from Star Wars. Kind of a rubbish looking Corellian Corvette, and I was kind of disappointed when I saw a much better one on the Steam Workshop, like I think a week later, but never mind. I thought that counts. I also made a Pelican from the Halo series and a Viper from Battlestar Galactica. Forward. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's kind of like a brief rundown of the basics. Like there's a load of they've added a load of more advanced kind of moving and mechanical parts to this game, which I again haven't been able to try because they were added in during my kind of away time from the game. So I'm not going to try and make them work now because I don't really know how they work. But you can see videos on the official forums or on Steam Workshop. Just download the people's creations, and you can just kind of see the more advanced stuff that you can do now in this game. As I say, it's a really kind of exciting project. I'm really looking forward to how this game kind of pans out in the long term. I think when it's finished, it is going to be Minecraft in space. I think it's going to be the next Minecraft. I think everyone should buy this game right now to support them in developing, and then just have fun, create stuff, and then yeah, if you get bored of doing that, that's fair enough. Just wait until it gets better and play it again when they've added a bit more to it. It's really easy just to download other people's creations as well into your game, so if you can't bother to build big things, which to be fair that is kind of me sometimes, like I mean well, but I don't know if I'd have the patience to build something like that. And then even if I did, it'd probably look rubbish. Again, with the Corellian Corvette, I really kind of devoted myself to, you know, building it and making it look as accurate as possible. I was kind of just working from an image I had on my tablet, and yeah, it was alright. Compared to the other one I saw, it was fairly naff, but you know, what can you do? But yeah, you can just download other people's creations right into your world. I think you have to download it into a new world, so you can't just, like, you know, play around in your world and then download something into your world. I think you have to, each download is its own separate kind of save, I think. So yeah, you're basically just borrowing their save file. And then yeah, you just play around what other people have done. Really that simple. I'm just going to explore some other bits of the station because I saw some things from the outside. It's kind of funny, but there wasn't actually, you know, the doors didn't open or close when I first started playing this, so seeing this in action, seeing these doors opening and closing, it's kind of mind-blowing right now. Very exciting. Don't even know where I am right now. It keeps going down. This is a gravity generator. It's one of the other kind of things you can create and put into, mainly for stations and large ships. It's what's allowing me to walk normally right now. If there wasn't a gravity generator, I'd be kind of floating around. So I say things like small ships don't really need them. There's yeah, you just sit in the cockpit, but for large ships the cockpit only looks like a console, like what you saw on the blue ship when I crashed it earlier. You saw me kind of jump into a console, whereas you looked at the light ship, it was an actual cockpit that you could enter and exit and enter, sorry. So I'm hoping they do more with the command console concept, because especially on big ships, like, you know, one person jumps in and flies the thing, another one jumps in and controls the weapons. Like, you could have a weapons console and you could slave specific weapons to it and then use those. That'd be quite interesting, but I don't know what their long-term plans are. I think they're just kind of starting to roll out more basic features now, especially the survival features, so that it becomes, you know, more like a Minecraft game. Because at the moment, people, as fun as it is, you know, just kind of endlessly creating stuff, you know, if you run out of imagination, then, you know, you're kind of stuck. You can still fly inside space stations and big ships, you know, regardless of gravity, if you want, with your handy jetpack. Press T to recharge. Well, this is the medical room. It's just a module that's been in there since I've been playing it. It doesn't do anything right now. Cargo container. What's inside it? Small cargo container, right? It's just some ore and shiz. Not quite sure how the PvP is going to work. Like, I suppose everyone would have to be on the same server. And they'd have to be at, like, what, opposite ends, then create stuff and then go around trying to attack each other? Or, I don't know, can you create stuff in your own server and then somehow get transferred over to a different one and kind of, you know, be the attacker whilst they're defending their base and stuff? I don't know. This is so cool. They won't. Imagine dogfighting in one of these things. Insane. You do have to be careful of, again, just how physics works in these games. Yeah, there's just something oddly satisfying about completely gutting it. Have I blown right? Have I blown right through it? Must be close. There we go. So I've blown right through the ship. Again, everything, not sure how accurate the damage values are at the moment. It's not going to stay as is, obviously. You know, I think they've already nerfed the missiles slightly because people are saying they were too overpowered. I'm quite skeptical about the early access model myself, but, you know, I am thankful it's allowed me to get hold of games like these quite early. Potential warping. That doesn't really work with the machine gun because it's too weak, but look at that. Cargo containers take a pounding. Can actually do it. Maybe they're not destroyable at all. Well, yeah. Not the most conventional method of excavation, but where am I? Work perhaps. And boom. I love this game so much. Don't know if you can tell or not. So yeah, this was just kind of a quick stream really. I didn't really have a plan in mind. I do kind of want to get some more structures to my stream in the future, especially if I can play something like Space Engineers, so maybe I'll do some kind of guides on building simple stuff, or just kind of a series of me, you know, building up a world from scratch and everything you can do with it. But you know, I was really excited just to kind of get this stream done and kind of show you guys Space Engineers, because it's a lovely game. It's a wonderful game. I think definitely needs more attention than it's getting right now, and I can't wait to see you know, what else it does. Sorry if the stream is a bit stuttery. Also, I think the graphics were turned down a bit because, you know, it's a pretty graphically intensive game, as you can probably guess, but you know, it's worth putting the effort in if you feel like picking it up. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.